Wednesday at this time, we welcome in Patrick Grimion. He's the host of the Patty G Show, where they talk a little business culture, a little entrepreneurship. Patrick, welcome back, man. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. I'm well. I've got my vest ironed and steamed. It's ready to go for the weekend.
I mean, yeah, you're obviously not breaking it out for today. You're saving it up for
That's
when...
Right. Saving it for the weekend.
It's got to be colder for you to freeze your arms off and keep everything else warm.
Correct. Keep the core warm later when it gets colder.
No, all good. We are approaching the holidays. The cooler temperatures will tell us we're approaching the holidays. And with that is going to come seasonal work. And every year, there's a whole crop of people that goes out there. They pick up some extra hours. They pick up, a few ends, if you will. This year, it's looking like it's going to be a little tougher. I forget where I even got this one from. I'm grabbing this from, well, you got one from Reuters. I've got one from CSA, which was a business publication. Sharp increases in traffic across channels during the holiday season put a hiring strain on many retailers. According to the Customer Experience Holiday Survival Guide, that's where I got this one from customer engagement technology provider Verint, more than 60% of surveyed retailers say they are challenged to find qualified candidates to staff their stores, while 45% are struggling to fill contact center and back office positions. 94% of respondents plan to hire new workers for the holiday season. Nearly 30% report not having enough human resources staff to handle the number of vacancies that need to be filled. Are we about to approach and look at an absolute strain on Christmas shopping because of the continued fallout of the Great Resignation?
I think we for sure are. Based on small businesses not having that back office capacity, not having that HR department, those benefits that are so appealing to seasonal workers whenever they come in, you're going to be faced with, as a small business, a very difficult time to staff up. I know some of the clients that I work with and the CPA firm, we're trying to figure out what to do to hire those seasonal workers for the influx of customers during the holiday season.
So this is where it gets sticky, because you have your regular employees, and if you need to staff up more for the holidays, you can't just throw that much more as a monetary incentive, because it's not fair to the rest of your staff.
Right. They can't come in and be earning more than your normal day workers are.
Right
out the gate, when they're really only going to be here for 1-2 months at max.
Right. So what do you do there to make that balance?
I've seen some employers offer discounts in their store to incentivize them to not only shop where they work, but also to come in and work at a place where they already shop. So they know the inventory, they know the items.
Gotcha.
It would be an easy turn from customer to employee in that regard.
Okay. All right. I guess I could see that.
Some of them are doing that. Others are ultimately just ramping up their total compensation package, their total benefits package as a whole, and reevaluating for the employees they have. How do we keep them in addition to retaining more? Because as a small business owner, you don't have a lot of cash to spend a lot of money on your benefits programs.
I'm wondering if there's other solutions out there that could help streamline things ahead of time. For example, extending Black Friday pricing all the way to today.
Yeah.
Incentivize your customer base to spread out the demand, so you're not looking at like really thick traffic on Black Friday through Christmas. If you can spread that out and start earning now, offering those sale prices now, once they've shopped for Christmas, they've shopped for Christmas, and leave the doors open for the next person to roll in. That could help ease some of the traffic, if you will.
I think doing that will ease a very small amount of traffic, because you do have a lot of last minute shoppers.
Sure.
You're not going to change that behavior.
No, totally.
But those that do shop early and want to get their list done, they're going to say, oh, the deal's already happening now. Let me go ahead and start buying some stuff that I need for Christmas holidays.
What about automation?
So automation can be a very significant factor in the back office scenario. Obviously, you can't, unless you're Amazon, you can't automate people grabbing stuff off the shelves for you and putting it into boxes.
Well, but okay, there's a number of grocery stores that do this. Why wouldn't like a Bath and Body Works be able to have a self-checkout item, or a walk and scan sort of thing?
They could, but now you're talking about developing infrastructure or purchasing more infrastructure, and then you have to weigh the cost of that versus hiring an employee to help somebody on the floor.
Yeah.
So you have a balancing act when you're looking at that level of technology being brought into your store, or can you look at your website? How do we promote people to purchase through the website or we don't have to deal with somebody, helping sell on the floor, where you can go shop on the website and then we should have somebody packing the orders.
I think a third option here, and this would be, there's a number of retailers, per the story that I was reading, there's a number of retailers who don't plan on hiring a whole lot for the holiday season and just bonusing out their current employees in order to, pay time and have double time with a bonus on top of that just to work more hours.
I think that will work in the short run, and I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. Ultimately, at the end of the holiday season, come January, February, once the returns have settled in and people are back to their normal, ordinary course of retail, I'm curious to see what employees are going to stick around or which ones are just going to have complete burnout and take a month off.
Yeah.
Like at that point, if you're getting paid the time and a half, double time for normal hours, and you get a bonus, they're more inclined to say, hey, I don't need to work for 2 weeks.
So what you're saying is you're backing your way into the situation that got you stuck in the first place.
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's what I hope doesn't happen, but it's more likely than not.
No, it makes sense. When you spell it out like that, that makes sense. But at the same time, though, if you're the employer, you're taking care of your own. Like I would think from an employee's perspective, you would be more appreciative of, yes, I have job security, and yes, I'm being rewarded for said job security or rewarded for the work I do by A, some level of a bonus, and B, the opportunity to earn more.
And you're going to hit those people that are monetarily motivated in that regard. They're going to say, great, I'm getting paid more. I'm getting bonuses. This is awesome. I can work 12, 14-hour days, and I'm going to get compensated and get a bonus on top of it all. And you're going to have those stick around, and they're going to say, great, this is wonderful. But those that maybe are focused more on a work-life balance, I don't know if a bigger paycheck will keep them in the door for the long term.
Okay, let me ask this question. We might have to hold this over till the back end of the break. But from the workforce perspective, those that resigned in the Great Resignation, those that are sitting on the sidelines, is seasonal employment perceived the same as full-time employment? Like if you were like, peace out, I don't want to do this anymore, but I can to earn a little bit around the holidays, that's not the same thing. Would there be more of a workforce willing to get back in the game knowing it's finite?
I think so, and I think that's how your retail shops are able to vamp up their hiring, to double, triple their employee base, because you have those people saying, I'm going to take some time off, and then maybe in the holidays I'll earn some extra cash.
Right.
And they're most likely going to seek out those that are doing what you described earlier, who are offering bigger pay incentives, bigger bonuses for working all the way through the holiday season. Those are going to attract those folks that are sitting on the sidelines right now, kind of waiting, getting antsy for the right opportunity to come along.
And the scary part here, and we're going to break here, and we'll come back after Your Money Now and continue this conversation with Patrick Grimion. But the scary part to me is the number of people who are already working full-time somewhere else and are going to be moonlighting, picking up extra hours just to make ends meet because of inflation, because of where we're at, just trying to survive in today's world. And you want to talk about burnout. Whew. He's Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show. We talk business every Thursday. Today we are looking ahead to the holiday season and staffing up. We'll continue the conversation right after we take a quick break. Check traffic. Your Money Now. We're back at it next on Talk 107.3.
So I think that's an interesting road to go down from a conversation standpoint, where you have this catch-22, right? Where you have all these people with a fear of recession, a fear of not having enough cash to make ends meet, but yet they don't want to work.
Right.
So then you have these employers. We've got job openings. You got employees or potential hires. I don't have any money. I can't pay for anything. Well, you just don't want to work at that point.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't. Meanwhile, like I've got 4 jobs,
Yeah.
There's very little time where I'm not working, and yet it's still kind of big. But like, it's more likely that even with 4 jobs, I would find a way to pick up a shift at a place on a Sunday and be like, hey, I can work Sundays. 2 to 10, you got it. No problem.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. That's the guy who's going to pick up the gig, or the woman, whatever, who's going to pick up the spare gig. And the Great Recession people, or resignation people, are just going to stay. They're going to stay quit.
And how are they making a living? How are they paying for things? Are they still living off of stimulus money that they had gotten last year? Like, that's my question.
I still don't know.
I
really don't know. Oh, no.
Or are they looking into the the dime bag options?
Well, there's a lot of cash-based businesses these days, not just, having a weed guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just I find we're in this point where we got this rubber band and both sides are pulling at it,
yeah.
and at one point that rubber band's gonna snap.
No, I know.
From a
What
trade
happens
from
when
a
it snaps? Because when it snaps, it's not just going to be economic. It's going to be economic. It's going to be social. It's going to be all of it, all at once, combined. And this is how we ended up with Donald Trump in the first place. Is the number of people who did say, "F it, I'm done. I want this guy instead. He's completely different. He's toxic, but he's completely different."
and I think we're getting within a very short 4 years we're getting back there.
Well, I think 2 years from now we're gonna have a guy running who is a lot more level-headed. I feel a lot more confident that I just lay it out here like this, and I know we don't talk politics, but Joe Biden is Jimmy Carter, Ron DeSantis is Ronald Reagan. This is history repeating itself.
History does tend to repeat itself.
Yeah. So it's about to be morning in America again.
Yeah. And what is
I hope.
what is the phrase? Easy times cause weak men cause hard times, hard times cause strong men.
Because we've had it so easy for so many years, and that's why like people come up with bullshit like social issues because like we need something to complain about. Like that's what I was telling Brian, that like everything that Americans complain about, it's like first world problems.
People live off of the sense that there is a crisis needing to be addressed 24/7.
Yeah.
And when there isn't one, because life's good and you're either have the job you want, you have the family situation you want, you have the possessions you want, and it's okay,
Yeah.
what's next? What else can cause a crisis?
Yeah,
You know?
agreed.
And then we get all, the left hand's doing this and the right hand's doing this, and all of a sudden we make a clapping sound, and it's like, how the heck did we get here?
Yep. Thank you, David. I'll let Taylor know.
What Taylor do?
David says the wreck on Florida and Sherwood is gone. I'll let Taylor know.
Okay, cool.
Good to know. Why don't you just eat Honey Nut Cheerios?
What?
The commercials about some medication for lowering cholesterol. And I said, why don't you just eat Honey Nut Cheerios?
Byron says shopping incentives for recruitment. Interesting. I'll see if Total Wine is hiring. It's true. Where were we taking the conversation?
Oh,
Overworked. 652 Talk 1073 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Rolling right along. We're talking with Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show. We talk business every Thursday. And we're looking ahead to the holiday season a little bit around here. Christmas shopping is about to get underway. And Patrick, we talked about this during the break a little bit. The part that worries me about the whole scenario is within the Great Resignation, those who have just gotten out of the game and have stayed out of the game versus those who are struggling to make ends meet in light of all the inflation. Where we're and by the way, with the recession that is already here, the soon to come impacts of the recession, stocking away for a bad time. There are those of us out there who are going to pick up second, third, fourth jobs just to make sure you have a little bit of a little bit saved for a long winter sort of scenario. Those are the people that I'm most worried about right now, because that's like I'm worried that today's holiday workers are tomorrow's heart attack victims.
Yes, and we don't even discuss the physical health side of things from time to time when it comes to being overworked, not getting enough sleep. Those people taking those late night shifts in warehouses, running packaging, whatever it may be, that's not their first gig more times than not. That's their second or third job like you described.
Right.
And for the holiday season, all that just gets heightened. It gets elevated to the point where we're working, some people are working, 16, 18 hours a day, going to sleep and then waking up and doing it all over again for 2 months. I mean, we're talking 2-3 months maybe even.
Yeah.
In January, February, it's just like I feel like the whole workforce may just have like this breath and they just decompress. And then what happens? They take the whole month off? They take 2 weeks off?
So, or do they not take off at all because of the recession and you might come back to not have a job at all? Like, that level of pressure is there right now, and it's only going to intensify.
And then we're going to be looking at a shorter cycle of the Great Resignation happening at some point or another. Or you're going to have people that 5 years from now, you look at their resume, and they worked at 10 different places and only stayed 2 months at a time at these places.
Right.
I mean, we're interviewing right now and hiring people right now, and I'm already seeing something like that. We're seeing people come in with resumes that have worked a year, 2 years, 6 months, 2 months at places, and they just hop around. I'm like, I want to know your story. I want to know. I want to know your story.
You approach it. You actually ask the story.
Absolutely.
What are you hearing?
Some of them, it depends on who they are. Some of them are experiencing family issues, and they said I had to move home to help I had to help with my parents because they were going through some health issues.
Okay.
Others were saying that they quickly noticed a toxic work environment within that short period of time
That bothers
and knew that they were not. They did not want to stick around. So ultimately, when I'm interviewing these people, I have to ask them, we're going to walk through your resume. I just want to know what's your side of things. What am I not able to see on a piece of paper that actually happened in real life?
How do you, if somebody responds with they notice a toxic work environment very quickly, how do you respond to that? Because there's a thin line between an actual toxic work environment and a spoiled baby who doesn't want to play with others.
So there's two ways to do it, and both ways work well, I see. One, whenever you ask for the referrals, if they don't give you that place as a referral, you find somebody in your immediate network that knows someone else who works there. And say, hey, can I just talk? I just want to talk to you about the work culture. Nothing to do about the candidate I'm hiring. I just want to get a second opinion about another employee that's there. And then if they give a totally different opinion, then I'm going to talk to somebody. You mind if I talk to your boss? Someone higher up, until you find out, okay, I talked to 2 or 3 different people. They all gave me, they love their work environment. They love their place that they're at. Maybe the bad apple is the one I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Well,
so you talk about the environment without talking about the candidate. And I know there's legalities here.
Right.
But because you can't talk about the candidate, but wouldn't it be so much easier if, like, you walk in and say, hey, look, I got this guy applying for a job. He says y'all have a toxic work environment. Like, you could set that up to where the person you're talking to be like, oh, let me tell you about that.
You could, and I feel like at that point, Brian, you're just walking in front of a firing squad as soon as you open with that door, saying, "Hey, I'm here to talk to somebody about a toxic workplace. I heard this is the place to come." Like, what do you think what kind of responses are you expecting at that point?
No, I'm expecting the person you're talking to out the guy who's talking to you about the toxic work environment.
And what if they're doing that as a cover-up because they know it is the toxic work environment and they say anything to the contrary, they're going to get reprimanded.
I hear you. Okay.
Like, there's two ways there's two sides of the sword, right?
Yeah. Getting back around to hiring for the holidays, Target says they plan to hire 100,000 seasonal workers.
I want to know how they're going to do that.
Thank you. That's
That's
I'm reading this story. You had sent over one from Forbes, and I'm reading the story. It's like Target plans to hire 100,000 workers. Okay, get back to me. Let me know how that worked out.
Can we get somebody? Does anyone know someone who works at Target? How are they incentivizing people
you could
to come in?
100,000 self-checkout lines at this point.
I think you'd be better off putting 100,000 self-checkouts in the store than hiring people.
It would be nice.
I mean, take all your checkout workers and put them as customer service reps, and they're actually going through the store and helping people shop and say, great, check yourself out on the way out.
Right.
That's if I'm as a frequenter of Target, that's something you'd wish, like, I just need someone to help me find this piece, or I need someone, like, there's more in the back, whatever it may be. you have questions and they don't have answers. But 100,000 more people may be the solution, Brian.
So the hidden part of this that we haven't gotten to yet is the online shopping. And we all think that we can avoid these problems by shopping online, but the dirty little secret is there's got to be somebody to stock on the back end. They need employers too.
They need employers, and I was just with a client's last week, and I watched their inventory process and how they process 300, 500 orders of online sales from the day before. And walking through their warehouse, going and picking items, dude, that is not an easy task.
No.
And knowing, especially the size of this warehouse, knowing where each item is, grabbing the right thing, scanning everything, it's not an easy task to fill an online order.
Right.
And while we just say, oh, it's going to be in the box and it's going to be shipped to us next day, whatever it is, we don't think about the person that's putting that box in there. Not every company is Amazon and has machines doing it, you know? And even then, Amazon's not fully using machines to 100%.
Right.
Someone still has to be there managing that box and everything.
Speaking of which, have you seen Amazon lately? It's gorgeous.
I think y'all posted a photo about it.
Yeah, we did. It's getting there. Hey, what's on the show this week?
This week we have the relaxation company at Pelican Point.
Oh, cool. Nice. We've talked to them before. Patty G Show, everywhere you get your podcasts, and, of course, part of the Saturdays On Demand lineup right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Appreciate the time this morning, man.
Thank you, Brian.
Here comes the CBS World News Roundup. Hour 2 is heading your way next. Oh, so I get this email, and I've just started digging into it. The ones I've been sending you come from this show prep service, and normally, like more than half of it is just dog shit garbage. So they looked to line up guests on the show with different experts, and the experts are never experts. But what I've been doing recently is taking their topics and then going and finding my own experts. Like I don't need a CPA in Dallas, Texas, with 500 Twitter followers to come on my show. Yeah, like that it doesn't serve me at all. I would rather contact a CPA to talk to, or a financial strategist locally to do that. So that's what I've been doing, is utilizing in that way, and rather than wasting the content, I'm adapting the content, and that's why I've been able to send you more stories lately. Hang on.
Yeah, I went to go share it on Twitter, and I was like, oh wait, he's already picked a topic, and I was like, hey, I saw you share this with Twitter. You want to share it with me?
It's been a bit of a I was getting to you.
I figured it's all good.
Byron said he had dinner at Rouge Creole Tuesday, and our food was brought out by a robot.
How'd you like that? I'm looking to get Hightower on the show. I gotta get Hightower on to talk about that.
But there was an employee with it the whole time. Seemed gimmicky and not helpful.
You said looking at it sounds like you're trying to connect.
First of all things flow through Mercy.
Right.
I coached one girl's basketball team. He coached the other. Okay. He doesn't even have a kid at Mercy. He was coaching Dalmo's kid's team. So.
Yeah. No, I know. I noticed they got like a Mercy's Dad workout group that comes to the gym at like 6 o'clock every morning.
Really? Who's in that? What gym? Anytime?
Anytime, yeah.
Is that like Frugier and them come? Tall guy is Jason Romero?
Yeah, Jason Romero.
And like really cut up, slender guys.
The guy with 7 kids?
Yeah, it's Casey Frugier.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
I think they're our 9 o'clock crowd. And I see them at 9 o'clock.
Those are my dudes. I love those guys.
I know. So I see him at 9. I'm like, oh, it's so strong. They're like a Mercy Dad's workout group.
Get in on that. You know how to get in on that?
No.
Axe. Friggin' sign up and go to Axe.
I know.
Although, to be fair, send your wife first. Let her go first. Let her take the full weekend off. You take the kid.